Tank Davis shuts off Leo Santa Cruz, and Uriah Hall finishes Anderson Silva via 4th round TKO. Knuckleheads, welcome to the Fighters Rep, where we give you interviews, fight commentary, and free fights. Welcome to the post-fight show. We are live right now, and we had a tremendous day of combat sports. We had Tank Davis taking on Leo Santa Cruz. That's going to be the focus of this video because we've already talked about Usyk, Chisora, Selby Convulsos, but of course we could bring all that stuff up. We can also touch on the Uriah Hall and Anderson Silva fight. My goodness, though, you guys, Tank Davis. You know, I said Tank Davis. By the way, pretty proud of myself. Went 2 for 2 this weekend. Picked Usyk to win in a decision or a late stoppage. He got the decision. I picked Tank Davis to win as well. I didn't indicate how, but I did say I thought he was too strong, too powerful, too explosive, too young, all of that stuff. I want to start off with that fight. Tank Davis, man. Tank Davis is a special athlete. Not everybody can do what he did tonight. In fact, nobody's ever done what he did tonight against Leo Santa Cruz. This is what I want to say about that fight. You know, as I was watching that fight, I said to myself, man, this is a great fight. This is a great fight because Leo Santa Cruz, despite being the smaller guy, technically moving up kind of to meet Tank at 130, looked pretty big, you know. I mean, he's more of a wiry guy, but he looked pretty big. And, you know, he was fighting very effectively throughout this fight. I mean, pretty much throughout the entirety of the fight, right? It ended in the 6th round. So throughout the entirety of the fight, I felt like Leo Santa Cruz kept this fight competitive. And the judges only had him down 1 point. You know, it looks like the majority of people gave Santa Cruz maybe the first couple rounds and then the last 3 to Tank Davis. Of course, that's all subjective. It's up for debate, but I thought it was about the same. I thought it was a very close fight. And one thing that I noticed in this fight is Leo Santa Cruz wasn't afraid to exchange with Tank Davis, and that kind of ended up being his undoing in this fight. And he also had more success against Tank Davis than I thought he would, and I felt like he was bothering Tank Davis in there. I mean, he landed some shots against Tank Davis that I was surprised at. And, you know, I got to put some respect on Leo Santa Cruz's name because he made it a good fight up until the very end. But what happened was he got a little bit careless. He got a little bit lazy. I think he got a little bit too confident. I noticed in the final exchange, he threw a right hand. And then it's almost a lazy, exactly the same telegraphed right hand afterwards. And it was that second telegraphed, lazier version of that right hand. And Tank's guard was up, so it was kind of, I don't know if he was like just trying to keep the distance or actually trying to land that punch or what he was doing. But he threw that right hand. And as happened so many times throughout the fight, Tank slipped to his left and threw a vicious, I'm talking a vicious left uppercut, right? Vicious left counter uppercut. You know, what Tank does is he slips, right? So Santa Cruz threw the right hand. Tank blocked it. He kept his guard up. Santa Cruz threw another right hand, the lazy one. Tank, instead of blocking it this time, slipped it. Now, if you watch it, it actually grazed Tank, but not enough to knock the counter shot off, right? Big shout out to Luis Huesca for joining Knucklehead Nation. Appreciate you guys subscribing. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation, the dopest fight channel on YouTube, where you get to participate in not only creating the channel and giving your opinion, but also in creating the only kickboxing promotion that matters, FightersRep Promotion. So let me kind of get back to this because this was fascinating to watch and a beautiful display of boxing skill from Tank Davis. I mean, Santa Cruz got lazy with that second right hand. It grazed him, but Tank had already read it, right? It was the same punch back to back. It was telegraphed. Tank slipped to his left. Like I said, it grazed him, but it didn't connect hard enough to knock his counter shot off its trajectory. Tank had already slipped, and he had already lit off. I mean, guys, I'm talking about an absolutely vicious, my goodness, that was a vicious left counter uppercut, you guys. And that thing landed clean. It landed clean right on Santa Cruz's chin. And the other problem is, so Tank had been countering with this left throughout the fight, and Santa Cruz kind of ducked into it, right? He did this. Santa Cruz kept doing this. He kept bending at the hip, and trying to brace for the impact on his right side. But over and over again, Santa Cruz was leaving this open, this part right here, and Tank was getting his fist in there. And this time, Santa Cruz, it's almost as if he anticipated maybe a lower strike, because he did like this, and he actually ducked right into this vicious left hook. I mean, he kind of, as he was bracing for it, he was ducking and bending to his right, and it just amplified. It just amplified the power. It just amplified the connect with Tank's force going upward, Santa Cruz ducking down at the hip. Just perfect shot. Put him out completely. He fell like a sack of potatoes onto himself. He fell onto his own legs. Lifeless. I mean, he was lifeless. Let's see what's going on here. Someone calling me? Who's calling me here? Anyway. Fell lifelessly. I used the term in the title, shuts off, because that's what he did. I mean, he disconnected Leo Santa Cruz from reality. He separated him from consciousness the second that uppercut landed. And I'll go as far as to say that was one of the most vicious knockouts that I've seen in a very long time. Very long time, because that was, I mean, the force that Tank threw that left uppercut with, the only smaller guy that I could kind of compare that to when I see somebody put that much force into a punch, it's funny, is Jeremy Stevens from the UFC, right? They say he used to play baseball, and he throws his right hand with reckless abandon. He throws it like he's throwing a baseball. And Tank kind of did the same thing, but with the left hand. And, man, that was a life-changing, a life-altering. I mean, that could have been a serious, I was scared. Leo Santa Cruz was out for a minute. And I was saying in my head, oh, man, I hope this guy gets back up. And it's crazy because you go from this situation where it was a competitive fight, an exciting fight, and Leo Santa Cruz was starting to make me doubt my prediction a little bit. I was saying to myself, oh shit, is this, he's kind of getting the better of Tank in some of these exchanges. What's going to happen here? He's landing the harder shots, but he's getting the better of Tank in some of these exchanges. Is Tank going to be able to detonate on this guy, or is he going to take him into the later rounds and drown him? And I said to myself, the way everybody else, I thought to myself the way everybody else did, that, as long as this fight goes on, Santa Cruz's chances get better. But big shout out to Tank Davis, man. What an absolute monster of a punch that was. That being said, and I'm going to address all you guys in the chat. Much love to you guys. Thank you guys for being in here. That being said, Tank Davis got hit way too much for my liking. Tank Davis got hit way too much for my liking tonight. As much as he's a sort of protege of the great Money Mayweather, who I think is probably the best boxer I've ever seen do it. I've said that before. I'll say it again. Floyd Money Mayweather. I know he's his protege. I know he's his I guess spiritual successor. But listen, Floyd Mayweather would not have been hit with that many shots. They've got a completely different skill set. Tank Davis is almost like a little Mike Tyson, right? He goes in there and he tries to tear through you. And that style is not as conducive for an undefeated record as Floyd Mayweather's style is. But I'll be interested to see if he can stay undefeated. But again, he got hit. He got hit a lot more than I expected him to be hit. And I think if you put him in there with Teofimo Lopez, I still think it's too soon for him. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think Teofimo Lopez is too much for him because, look, explosiveness, speed, Teofimo can at least match him. Power, Teofimo can at least match Tank. The difference, I believe that Teofimo Lopez is a better boxer. That's the difference for me. Also, I would love to see him in there against a Lomachenko. The PBC broadcast, I don't know if you guys saw it, they actually had Tank Davis number 2 and Lomachenko number 3, which I thought was just ridiculous but and delirious. But I'd love to see that fight. Because I think a really good boxer that can hang in there, that can deal with Tank Davis's power, makes it through the fight. By the way, big shout out to George Estrada donating to the channel, man. I appreciate you and your generosity. Says, what's up, my boy? LA in the house, baby. LA in the house. Listen, anything you guys donate to the channel, as George Estrada just did, gets reinvested back into the channel, back into the promotion, and you're helping me build a promotion with integrity. And that's important. George, that's important, bro, because today we had another one of these ridiculous decisions. This time it was out in the UK. Lee Selby got absolutely ripped off by the judges over there. I thought he dominated the fight against George Kambosos, and a judge literally scored about 118 to 110 in favor of Kambosos, which I thought was there's no way that can happen. Shout out to Imad Saad for joining Knucklehead Nation. Appreciate you for subscribing, brother. So George Estrada's in here. Kevin from Chicago's in here. My brother Marco Martinez is in here. Say, yeah, brother, what's up, my boy? Wow. What's up, guys? Appreciate you guys for being in here. Marco says, most sensational KO since Manny got KO'd. That was a sensational KO for sure, my man. I mean, Tank Davis, man, all respect to Leo Santa Cruz. He's a warrior. Tank Davis sent Leo Santa Cruz tonight to the fucking abyss, man. He sent him. I mean, Leo Santa Cruz saw the afterlife with that punch. I mean, that was vicious. That was a vicious knockout. I thought it was a great fight. Leo looked really good. I agree with that. RGN's in the granite says, yo, awesome fights. What's going on, RGN's? Appreciate you being in here, brother. Says, Tank was better than I even thought. Tank was good. George Estrada says, Leo did look good tonight. But the 6th round, though, that's what matters. Tank's body work slowed Leo down, made him respect Tank's power. Maybe that's what it was. I just think he's just too explosive, too young, a little bit too explosive, too fast for a guy like Leo Santa Cruz. But, I think if Santa Cruz would have made it, fought a bit more conservatively, made it into the later rounds, he could have made it a fight. Should have, would have, could have. Oh, well, RGN's in the granite says, Santa Cruz bit down on his mouthpiece and made a mistake. I think he threw that lazy right hand and he telegraphed it. How you going to throw the right hand, get it intercepted, and then throw it again lazy? You can't do that. Tank is just waiting. He's waiting for that opportunity. And Leo Santa Cruz said, here you go. He opened it up, laid it out on the silver platter for him and said, here you go. Counter me with the most vicious left uppercut you got. And that's exactly what happened. Louis M. Huesca says, that was an uppercut from hell. I agree, man. Gamebred Boxing says, what's up, George? What's up, brother? Appreciate you being in here, man. How are you guys doing tonight? How's everybody doing? What's everybody drinking tonight? What's everybody drinking? Let me know what you're drinking in the chat here. Mr. Kryptonite says, don't be acting surprised. Small old man versus younger, bigger man. Leo was landing great shots, though, exposing Tank a little bit. Yeah, I mean, he's not a great defensive fighter. I mean, that's obvious from what we saw today. But if you're sloppy, if you're lazy, he will counter you. And his counters, as we saw tonight, knuckleheads, are fight-ending counters, potentially career-ending counters. I mean, listen. All respect to Leo Santa Cruz, you guys. But does he come back from a knockout like that? I mean, does a human being come back from a knockout like that? Does a human being, I want you guys to answer me. Does a human being come back from a vicious knockout like that? That was crazy. That was crazy. Claudio Monreal says, Tank versus Tio, make it happen. I would love to see that fight, but again, I think it's too soon for Tank, man. I don't think he can F with Tio. I'll be honest with you guys. Tank's a finisher, man. I agree with that. Danny Moo says, I agree with that. RGN's in the Granite says, it was a car crash. Davis, Baltimore's finest. Shout out RGN's in the Granite out there in Boston. Marco Martinez says, Leo looked like Crow Cop when Gonzaga head kicked him. For sure. That uppercut reminded me of the Joshua Klitschko uppercut. Oh, man, it did. It really did. Ausaf Khan says, yes, what's up, brother? Appreciate you joining us, man. Claudio Monreal says, hopefully Tank stops fighting lower weight fighters. RGN's in the Granite says, Lopez would eat Tank. That would be a fantastic fight if it happens. I do think Lopez has the edge right now. Just from the eye test, though, you never know. I mean, you never know, You never know. Maybe Tank can handle him. But, I mean, just from the eye test, I feel like Lopez is the better boxer. I feel like he's just a better fighter. And he's going to match him with speed and power. Maybe more than match him. Claudio Monreal says Lopez is younger than Tank, though that fight needs to happen. ARS Smith says, Teofimo's too big. Tank is really a 130-pounder. People act like Tank is huge. Yeah, he's not that big. He's not that big. I agree with that. New Media's taking L says, that was the plan all along. They wanted Tank to become a superstar, fighting a Mexican fighter and beating him. Going to the ring with Mexican colors and sombrero. Not impressed. Knocked out a smaller guy. I wonder if when they wear a New Media, I wonder if when he wears the colors and the sombrero, if it's a homage or if he's doing it, to mock the Mexican culture. I mean, I would hope it's the former because, man, shout out to the Mexican fighters, man. As a promoter out here in California, man, I got nothing but love and respect for the Mexican fighters. I mean, I've seen some. You guys got to see this new slew of kids coming through the pipe right now in kickboxing and boxing out here. These kids are impressive, man. Now, RGN's in the Granite says, yup, smoking kush. Well, you enjoy yourself, brother. George Estrada says, Modelo time, fool. I love Modelo, man. I love Modelo. Let me see if they can bring me something to drink here. Let me see if somebody will bring me a drink. Bring me. I don't think we have any Modelo. I think we only have light beer left. I think we drank all the Modelo. Let's see here. What's going on here? Appreciate you guys joining us, man. Appreciate you guys joining us. The channel is growing like crazy. You guys, been here. A lot of you since day one. Appreciate you guys. We broke 6,000 subscribers about a couple days after we broke 5,000. Really appreciate you guys, man. Awesome fights tonight. Absolutely, RGNs. I don't know if he does, says RGNs. I mean, how does Leo Santa Cruz come back from a knockout like that, you guys? I say he might come back, and take on an easy fight or something, but I don't think you're ever the same after a knockout like that, man. Unless he's made out of something special, which he might be. But that was a life-changing KO. And Kevin from Chicago echoed that phrase. Life-changing KO is what I said. Life-changing KO is what I meant. That was a life changer. RGN's in the Granite says, I like Lopez beat Loma. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a close fight, but I'm good with Lopez winning that fight, brother. Man, Halo, what's going on, brother? Brother, appreciate you being here. He says, hi, buddy. Long time, a bit late here. What a vicious KO of Gervonta. Santa Cruz was actually hitting his shots before that KO. I agree. That's what we've been talking about on here, man. It's like Santa Cruz was having a lot of success, and you wonder to yourself, well, if it's a guy tank size, or it's a guy with a little bit more skill and more power, like a Teofimo Lopez, landing combinations like that, and is able to take Tank a little bit later into the fight, what happens? I mean, listen, I don't want to take anything away from Tank Davis, but the first thing we do at the end of a fight is we want to see them against the best guy or the next person, and I'd be intrigued to see who he fights next. I'd be intrigued. Too Savage says Floyd did the same thing when he faced Hispanic fighters. Well, I remember Floyd wearing the Mexican thing one time. I think it was maybe partially an homage, partially just to mess with them. But I think Floyd definitely had respect for the Mexican fighters, man. You have to. The Hispanic fighters in general. New media taking L says Floyd did it when he fought against Oscar De La Hoya. Exactly. That's when he did it. I remember that. And I was like, ooh. When I saw that, I was like, damn, Floyd. You really don't give a fuck, bro. You better watch your ass. You go through Los Angeles and Mexico. If that's meant to be an insult, you get your ass sipped off the top of the cup, like they said, like they say down south, man. RGN's in the Granite says, I don't think messing with MDO boxing is a good future. Not sure what you mean by that, RGNs. What do you think of Regis and Barrios on the undercard? Man, that was a good undercard. Regis, friend of the show. He's been on the show. I've interviewed him a couple times. He's a good guy. He's an exceptional fighter at 140 pounds. That's actually a great fight if him and Tank were to fight at 135. I would love to see that fight. That's one thing I wanted to point out to you guys. I don't know if you guys noticed, but despite the fact that the fight tonight was at 130 pounds, there were two belts from two different weight classes on the line. Oh my God. Oh, boxing. Two belts at two different weight classes on the line, but the guys are fighting at one weight class. Ladies and gentlemen, only in boxing can you do some shit like that. Only in boxing can you do some shit like that, man. That was... And this is like the second time this happens. I think it's the WBA doing this. It's so stupid. Gary Martin's in here. Oh my God. Gary Martin is in here of all people. My goodness, guys. I got to get Gary Martin on here as a guest because this guy just argues about everything. You can tell this guy the sky is blue and he's going to come up with some scientific theory to tell you that you're wrong. A friend of mine since high school, since back in the day, hilarious guy. I've been trying to tell him to start a YouTube channel, but he doesn't listen to me. But yeah, he argues about everything, and I think you guys would really enjoy him if one day we got him on here to argue about the fights. So Regis and Barrios, Regis looked great. Barrios, oh no. I think Barrios was the one that kind of went life and death with that cowboy guy. I think that's who you're talking about. That great fight, but definitely got hit way too much in that fight. Wait. People were praising Lopez for decision over Loma, and Loma was way smaller than Tio compared to Tank Cruz. Potentially. I still think Tio's the man, though. I'd love to see him and Tank get it on. But, even if he's younger than Tank, I do think Tank hasn't gotten that good experience, man. He's been sitting on the shelf a little bit, He fought Gamboa, and then now he fought Santa Cruz. I think he's going to need to fight maybe one more good opponent before you put him in there against Teofimo. At least that's my opinion. Let's see here. Errol Spence couldn't KO Mikey Garcia. You think Tank can KO Garcia? What do you think? That would be a great fight. But look, Errol Spence couldn't KO Mikey Garcia because Mikey Garcia came to survive after the, first or second round, whatever it was. When he realized that he couldn't do anything against Errol Spence, he went into survival mode, and if you've ever fought or sparred somebody or, been in the gym, even, for anything, a person in survival mode is very hard to take out, especially if they're an educated fighter, like Mikey Garcia, so I don't really blame Errol Spence. I mean, look, Errol Spence, if you fight with him, he'll knock you out. Errol Spence is a beast. Your opinion on Usyk versus Chisora, a legit heavyweight test it was. And RGN's in the Grand says, outstanding knockout mechanism. Got you. Your opinion on Usyk Chisora, I did a separate video on that fight today because it, obviously it happened earlier. It happened out in the UK. Look, I thought Chisora put up a hell of a fight, man. I think Usyk showed that he can hurt the heavyweights because I thought he was actually going to get Chisora out of there in the 7th round. He had him reeling. But, our suspicions, I think, were a little bit confirmed because Usyk... Let me lower this shit down a little bit. Usyk, guys, was having a lot of trouble, especially in the first 4 rounds. It was looking like shades of Teofimo Lopez versus Lomachenko. Chisora came out there, was slugging it out with him, and I said to myself, my goodness, what's going to happen here? Is there going to be an upset? Because Chisora was just throwing caution to the wind, swinging big shots, pushing Usyk around. Usyk is, let's face it, he's more of a natural cruiserweight. I mean, we're in a new era of heavyweights where if you're not 6'5 plus, 250 pounds plus, you're in trouble. And Usyk is very small for a heavyweight now at 6'3 or 6'4, whatever he is. I think he came in at 215, 220? I mean, it's crazy. What he did tonight, he's not going to be able to do that against a guy like Anthony Joshua or a Tyson Fury or anybody that's big that's going to rough him up, And Chisora is that guy, he just comes forward. But a guy who can do both, a guy who can rough him up and box like an AJ or like a Tyson Fury, I think that's going to present a lot of problems for Usyk. But, we'll see. It remains to be seen. I mean, look, he beat a high-level heavyweight today. You got to give him credit for that. But it was a very close fight. And I don't think that his size is going to help him in the heavyweight division. I think it still remains an unanswered question, especially against the elite. So we'll leave it at that. Gary Marr says, yeah, that's stupid. We already read that one. Marco Martinez says, George, what is going on with your boy Deontay Wilder? He came out on Twitter today with a video accusing Fury of loading his gloves and called him a coward, saying he ran from the rematch. I think that's what tomorrow's topic is going to be on. because I saw that too, and it just didn't sit right with my soul. At some point, you just gotta admit to losing, and fight fans, especially American fight fans, because of the culture that was created by these dinosaurs like Bob Arum and Don King and all these, old geezers that I talked about on yesterday's video. They've created this culture of the manufactured, artificial, undefeated record. This culture of A-side versus B-side. This culture of, go and fight tomato cans until you're ready to fight a champion. And it's just, people associate so much more negativity with a loss than it deserves. And I feel like Deontay Wilder is reeling from that. I feel like his ego took a big hit. I don't know. Maybe he suffered some kind of damage. I don't know. He literally came out in that video, and all the conspiracy theories that these goofballs on YouTube have been proffering about his gloves being loaded or his gloves being half off, and he fought the fight with his glove half off. I don't know. It's possible. It's probable. But, as a promoter, seeing the way these athletic commissions check on the gloves and the opposing side checks on the gloves, and it's just not plausible, And then at the end of the day, like if I'm fighting somebody, right, and I pull my glove halfway off, it's just, it doesn't do a lot of good for me to fight that way. But, that's his story. He's sticking to it. I don't agree with it. I don't respect it. In fact, I think it's stupid. I think it's sore loser talk, but to each his own, I wish he would stop and just take the loss and come back and improve, but I guess, I guess not. I don't know. Boxing needs a tune-up, oil change, at Quincy Mental Health. I agree with you on that one, RGNs. Gary Martin says, but that was still a good fight. That was a good fight. Leo got no footwork and head movement. That's true. He's very stiff. He's a very upright, stiff fighter, and he got caught tonight because of that. Claudio Morel says, Kevin, nobody thought Santa Cruz was a pound-for-pound fighter. RGNs is telling Gary Martin to start a YouTube channel. I agree with that. Mahalo Mikhail says, Marco Martinez, Wilder went from being a feared boxer to an embarrassing fighter. The contract was run out, and now he is asking for a fight when Fury already has a fight plan. And you see, that's another thing. That's another thing I can't really respect. You wait until the 11th hour, and then you decide that you want to fight Fury and call him out. You wait until the contract lapses, and the guy's been, trying to fight you for who knows how long. And then you want to talk all this shit about him on social media to make it look like he's the one that's avoiding you. I just feel like it's laughable at this point. If I'm Fury, I just laugh it off and concentrate on my next fight against Caballo or whoever he's going to be fighting. Carlos Takam, it sounds like. We'll see who he fights. Mr. Kryptonite says he's fighting small guys. I'm not sure who you're referring to. George Estrada says, the fight reminds me of Manny Pacquiao versus Marquez. The knockout, yeah, that was a vicious one. Totally different, right? Because it was an uppercut in this one. Uppercut counter shot with the left. Beautiful. But still a vicious knockout. Claudio Monreal says, Garcia clearly just tried to survive against Spence. Yeah, absolutely. James B29 says, except Manny actually has footwork and head movement, whereas Leo footwork and head movement is non-existent. Exactly. So, Juan Manuel Marquez, gets a lot of credit for that knockout because despite that footwork and head movement, he was able to draw Pacquiao onto that counter. Just beautiful boxing. Mar Money says, I think Tank, he fight the winner of Ryan versus Campbell, then fights Lopez. That's a great idea, Mar Money. I agree with that. Shout out to Mar Money. Appreciate you. I don't think you've ever been on the channel before. If you guys haven't been here before, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to a Join Knucklehead Nation. I appreciate you guys. Get your Fighters Rep gear in the link below. Anything you donate in the super chat or get in the links below, your shirt, masks, hoodies, whatever, just gets reinvested right back into the channel and helps me to build the only kickboxing promotion that matters. Fighters Rep. By the way, Anderson Silva fought tonight. He lost in his last fight, 4th round TKO against Uriah Hall. And I bring that up because his son fights for us and is incredibly talented like his father. And you can watch his fights for free on our channel. He actually won a title at the last event. Not only a Fighters Rep title, but also an IKF title, the International Kickboxing Federation title. RGN's in the Granite says, horrible heavyweight, Usyk, Chisora, slow heavyweights. You know, I got to disagree with you on that one, RGNs, man. These dudes can fight. Usyk can fight. He's just a little small, I think. His frame is a little light. He might need some time to kind of grow in to the division. And then Chisora, I mean, yeah, he's not super fast, but, man, he goes in there and bangs people out, and I got a lot of respect for him. Support. Mahilo Mikkel with another donation, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that, Mahilo. On behalf of myself, all the fighters that compete for us, all the knuckleheads of Knucklehead Nation that are tuning in tonight. Appreciate you guys. And, you know, there's almost 50 of you in here and only 8 likes. Somebody smash that like button, please. Please smash the like button. Would appreciate if you guys did that. Phone Jack. The whole world knew Gervonta would win. A lot of people thought Leo versus Tank was going to be Maidana versus Broner for some reason. Well, look, Phone Jack. I mean, you know, he did do a pretty good job for the first 6 rounds. But, yeah, he got his lights turned out. Mahilo says Holyfield was able to do it. However, Holyfield already had KO power. Holyfield was a big freaking cruiserweight too, man. Holyfield was a monster. So you can't just... And a lot of these guys, I mean, the consensus is that Holyfield is the greatest cruiserweight to ever live. So let's see here. Gary Martin says 100%. James B29 says, LOL, Broner's watch. You know, Broner is the biggest shame ever for me. You know, I really thought Broner had a lot of talent. It was a shame. Phone Jack says it's facts. Gary Martin. People thought Leo versus Tank. Yeah, no, I thought Tank was going to win. I thought he was too explosive. I said that in the prediction. Too explosive, too strong, too fast, too young. 25 years old versus a 32 or 33-year-old Leo Santa Cruz. Not to take anything away from Santa Cruz. I mean, he's a great fighter. But Tank just has these amazing attributes, man. Super speed, super strong, decent boxing IQ, great counter punches as we saw tonight. He was not going to be able to beat Tank tonight. RGN's in the Grand says, Waters got to grow up, no class. He should watch the man he fired that threw in the towel and amateur Golden Glove Championships, one of the best. Talking about Mark Breland. Fury beat Water at 70% and 90%. Now Fury's 100%. You know, yeah, he called Mark Breland in his video today a traitor, or a disloyal trainer, rather. And I thought that was a little extreme. And I don't think he should have done that. Mr. Boots says, Fighters Rep, me don't like your attitude. Send me location. All right. Alan Orquiza says, Tank versus Berchelt. Stop playing. That's a good one. Berchelt is a dog. Mr. Boot. Fighters Rep, jokes aside, one word, Hamzat. Remember the smash name. Yeah, Hamzat is a beast, bro. Claudio Morreal says, Usyk won't beat a top heavyweight. I mean, he's already kind of near the top, though, right? I mean, he beat Chisora. Now he's mandatory to fight AJ. So, you know, maybe he doesn't beat a top heavyweight, but who's the top heavyweight? AJ? Fury? Is there anybody else on that list? Does he beat Dillian White? Does he beat Andy Ruiz? You know, you got to give him credit for trying. Well, they didn't think it, but they acted like it, says Phone Jack. Manuel Pop says, summer 2008 Santa Cruz ain't no Pac-Man. That's for damn sure. But listen, respect to Santa Cruz, man. He went in there and gave it a go, man. And that's, as fight fans, that's all we could ask for. Go in there and, put up a fight. James B29 says Pacquiao should come down to 135 and fight these youngsters since it's more his natural weight, and fighters at 147 ain't fighting each other. Cough, cough. Crawford and Spence. Yeah, that's crazy. Crawford and Spence hasn't been made yet. Sad to see Anderson Silva, legend, get hurt. Not used to seeing him with a weak chin. He's 40 plus now. I mean, he's got other stuff going on in his life. So, he had a fantastic career. Nothing left to prove. Shout out to the Spider, man. Big shout out to the Spider. Mr. Boots says, FightersRep, I've been boiling inside reading John Jones tweets, crying like a baby, and even trying to use the race card injustice about Khabib getting the GOAT respect. Yeah, John Jones has always been a little bit goofy, and I think he rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Kevin from Chicago says Chisora is a top heavyweight, top 10 in the world. It's a good point, Kevin. George, we have to talk about tonight's UFC. It was super entertaining. Greg Hardy looked really good today. Needs to lose weight, in my opinion. Bryce Mitchell got the shorts he asked for. That kid can fight. That Bryce Mitchell kid can fight, and Greg Hardy can fight too. Mahalo Mikel says, Anderson Silva, unfortunately, is another example of a legend. Staying too long in the game, going out like that was a bummer. I agree. Santa Cruz doesn't have any power in his own weight class. What the hell was he doing at 130 then, man? Well, I agree with you there, but look, I thought he was getting to Tank a little bit tonight, man. We can't, let's not BS and let's not take away from Tank's win tonight. Santa Cruz is a tough guy that's never lost. He's never been knocked out like that. So, congrats to Tank, man. You got to give him his credit. And I agree, Santa Cruz doesn't have a lot of power. Not really what he's known for. But he was getting to Tank today, man. He landed a lot of shots. Marco Martinez says, people have totally forgotten how awesome Anderson was. He was the GOAT for a long time. He was in the Matrix. And he did it all after the age of 31. That's true. Claudio Morreal says, let's be real, Holyfield was most likely on the juice. You know what? I saw a picture of Holyfield yesterday. They put it on Facebook. They put a picture of Holyfield on Facebook yesterday. And he was walking away, or rather walking towards the camera. It was right after Tyson bit him. And I want you guys to go look at that picture. I'm not going to accuse Holyfield of being on the juice, but he looked like a professional bodybuilder with boxing gloves on. That guy was a monster, man. The only real deal Holyfield, best cruiserweight ever. Anderson Silva's a legend. Wilder's a punk. I like RGN's The Credits attitude today. Shout out to Channel Gold, KB, Kasahun, Bekele, who just joined Knucklehead Nation. Appreciate you guys for doing that. He was a year younger than Khabib is now, when he debuted in the UFC and dominated multiple UFC champions. He was KOing guys without breaking a sweat. That's true. That's true. But let's also not forget that his division was very weak. Not to take anything away from Anderson Silva, but for me, when I consider him in the GOAT conversation, and he is a GOAT, he's one of them, I always got to look at, the people he fought, and I thought they were kind of weak, if I'm being honest with you guys. Mihailo Mikel says, Marco Martinez, unfortunately, he became a victim of his own ego. That Weidman loss was the beginning of the end. Showboating and getting KO'd. I love Izzy, but Anderson was wrecking guys in the same fashion as Izzy is now for 7 years. Let's see where Izzy goes, man. Izzy looks really good. Claudio Manuel says, I like Usyk, but heavyweight ain't no joke. I agree, man. That's a different... Look, the difference in weight showed tonight. I'm glad you said that, Claudio Morreal. The difference in weight was ostensible tonight. I want you guys to look up that word. Ostensible. Tonight was the difference in weight, man. That was crazy. RGN's in the Granite says, Usyk definitely don't beat Tyson Fury. AJ, respect anyone gets in the ring. Absolutely. You know what time it is, RGN's. I think his fast twitch muscles just eroded with time. All good things come to an end. I agree with that. Close Official says, I think he's almost being like an early Mayweather Sr. So many knockouts in his early career. He's just got to learn to slow down. Besides that, Davis is amazing. Yeah, but you know, Mayweather, let's be honest, Mayweather's much more of a boxing genius. Oh man, I'm asking my woman to bring me a drink. The throat is getting parched. Hopefully she hooks it up. You know, he's not Mayweather. He's not. He's different. He's different. You know, he's great. He's more entertaining, but he's different. James B29 says Jeff Horn would destroy Mayweather. Stop it. I remember seeing Anderson Silva fight on Brazilian MMA shows. Knew he was a beast back then, but hopefully it's over now, says Claudio Monreal. Marco Martinez says his style was to counter guys, and eventually the guys are just faster than you. There's a reason Mayweather stopped boxing elite boxers and started calling out MMA guys. But listen, you know, Marco, Mayweather in his prime fought Zab Judah, who was faster than him. But Mayweather just had, genius level timing and skills and fundamentals, and he was able to get over, Zab Judah as well. Mayweather's a beast, man. Mayweather's the best that I think I've ever seen. RGN's in the Granite says Japan, Brazil, and other countries loved Silva before Americans. That's true. Mihailo says, Marco Martinez, where does Silva rank in your GOAT list? Yeah, let me see your GOAT list, guys. Top 3 right now. Type it up. Top 3 UFC. RGN's in the Granite. Heavyweights hit hard. They absolutely do. Submission 72 says, what's next for Inoue, you think? I don't know. I didn't even get to watch that fight yet. That's going to be for a separate video probably. Abdul Karastea says, FightersRep. Mayweather set it up like he did all his career so Tank can go undefeated, taking the less. Oh, thank you, Hayat Elbi. Elbi Ente. Cheers, guys. Oh, God. Oh, that was so good. Where am I? I don't even know where I am anymore. Abdul, I'm glad you bring up the Mayweather set it up thing. I'm glad you bring it up because I don't know if you guys noticed tonight, right? This was a PBC fight, and that judge, Alfredo Rochin, something Rochin. It's either I think it's Alfredo Rochin. The same guy that gave Deontay Wilder the first fight against Tyson Fury by the big margin was judging tonight. And when I saw that name, I said Rochin. I Googled it right away. I was like, this fucking guy, bro. This guy doesn't belong anywhere near a boxing ring. So, shout out to that guy. Hey, Rochin, go fuck yourself. Let's see here. I don't really have a list just because I think it's hard to rank guys in different era. He's on the Mount Rushmore with GSP, John Jones, and Khabib. You're not going to put Royce Gracie on there? RGN's in the Granite says, get yours, George. I don't drink. Bullshit, you don't drink, RGNs. I've seen you drink. Kevin from Chicago says, camo shorts. Yep. Mihailo says, in my opinion, if a fighter gets popped for a failed test, can't be number 1. I have GSP or Khabib at 1. Khabib's domination of his opponents is the best ever. I agree with that. I got to put Khabib as number 1 as well. 2 and 3, I'm not sure. James B29 says, I still think Pacquiao beats top cats at 135 like Lomachenko and Ryan Garcia. Baltimore 410 TV, Baltimore in the house. Says, Tank just showed that Baltimore heart and grit. Hey, congratulations to Baltimore. Shout out to Baltimore, man. Yeah, he did. Tank looked like a man. Listen, he hit Leo Santa Cruz so hard, right? that, like, he sent him into next Halloween with that uppercut, man. I mean, his soul went into orbit, spun around the earth 365 times, and landed in next Halloween. That was crazy, you guys. RGN's in the Granite says Mayweather couldn't hit him. Best marketing genius since Ali. Agree with that. Kevin says GSP, Khabib, Stipe, Mighty Mouse, Fedor. Hey, there you go. Kimberly G says who that Leo was going to win. I guess she's saying who thought Leo was going to win. Come again, Kimberly G. And next time with better grammar, young lady. RGN's in the Grand says Ali, Tyson, Hagler. Thank you, George's wife. Submission 72 says top 3 UFC. Number 1, GSP. Number 2, Silva. Number 3, Khabib. Top UFC fighters of all time. Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Nick Diaz, James B29. You are ridiculous, my man. GSP, Silva, Khabib is a good list. RGN's in the Grand says shitbag judges, man. Listen, I've already made a decree to the public. I've told you guys, go out there, become judges, join your state's athletic commission. Stop letting these fucking animals judge these fights. They're outrageous. Just go and join. If you like boxing, you can join. You get a ringside seat. You learn to score fights. You know, get yourself in the fight game if that's what you want to do. I encourage you to do so. You know, if we actually have people who have passion and care about the fight game judging the fights, this shit won't happen. Mihailo says, number 1, Khabib, only UFC champ to ever stay undefeated. 2, GSP, multiple division champ and beat Bisping to win the 185-pound belt. 3, Jones, 4, Silver, respectable list. Abdul Karistea says he was gonna rob Leo Santa Cruz to that Rochin guy. Exactly. That's exactly my point. That's why he was there. That guy was there just in case. That guy was the spare idiot. You know? In case it didn't happen, you put the spare idiot on the fight like a spare tire and just, you know, get your way. RJ's in the Grand says Royce Gracie, Jones, Khabib. It's a hell of a... Bro, that's a hell of a list. Nut Nasty R says B More. Shout out to B More, man. Hey, congrats to you guys. Listen, I got to go with the Cali boys, but you got to have respect for B More. You know, I'm not a fanboy. I'm not biased. I'm only slightly biased, I guess, when a Cali boy is fighting. I want to see the California guys do well, and maybe people from Miami where I'm from. But, you know, I look at these fights objectively when I talk about them. And Tank Davis was special tonight. He was special. Marco Martinez, no Royce Gracie, wouldn't be able to compete in today's MMA. He was fighting guys that wore one boxing glove. Dude, you just said you don't like to compare people from different eras. If you're going to talk about eras separately, then you must include this man. He was the man in his era. Nut Nasty R says Tank today, tomorrow Ravens, KO Steelers. I like that. RGN's in the Granite. Baltimore's famous knockout mechanisms. Abdul Karistea says, I think GSP should be the GOAT because he dominated in several weight divisions, and Khabib and John Jones never dared moving up in weight. Second GOAT is McGregor because he fought everyone. Interesting. Guys, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation. Donate to the channel. Get your gear in the link below. We got shirts, hoodies, masks, tanks. Anything you purchase from the FightersRep link below gets reinvested right back into the promotion. Just make sure you let me know you bought it. Take a picture of yourself on Instagram. Smash the like button in here and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You know, we put up free fights. We do the same shit on here as we do over there. Give us a follow. You'll help me support the fight game. You'll help me build the fight game out here. I'm in the mecca of combat sports. I got the best young talent in the world right here. And you can watch our fights for free and see that. And we got 5 dates lined up for next year. Hopefully, you know, this whole thing goes away. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say what it is because then we get demonetized on YouTube. But hopefully this whole thing goes away and we can get back to putting fights together for you guys. Tank sent them to Halloween Town, says Kevin from Chicago. Dude. Mihailo says, Abdul, GSP has a legit case, though. The only disadvantage GSP has compared to Khabib is that he lost against Sarah and had a controversial win against Johnny Hendricks. That's true. Kevin McClellan, shout out. Thank you for being in here. Says, Silva, Bones, GSP. That's a great list. RGN's in the Granite says, I want to ref them. You should do it, man. You guys should sign up. Sean Sherwin says, Tank looks and sounds like the face of boxing. You know, Tank may be one of the next big stars, if not the next big star. You know, this new young generation, man, looks good. T.O., Tank, Haney, Shakur. A lot of nice looking kids. Coming through. Levi Saavedra says, for a lack of better words, this is another classic case of cherry picking as expected. A patent of Floyd Mayweather Promotions putting more value in the packaging than the real boxing talent. I'm sure you'll have some detractors there, Levi, but I see what you're saying. I just think we got to put a little bit of respect on Leo Santa Cruz's name. He was actually out there putting up a decent fight. Arjun's in the Granite says, Gracie could deal with today's I'm going back to Cali. Who would win between Teofimo and Davis? Right now, I got to go with Teofimo. I don't believe Khabib is the GOAT. He's great. I love him. He didn't fight elite guys long enough. He only fought once a year. Yeah, but who dominated like Khabib Nurmagomedov, guys? Who did that? Nobody ever dominated people the way Khabib did. I've never seen such domination in my life. And that's why I got him up there as a GOAT. RGN's in the Granite says, being a world-class jiu-jitsu fighter in today's era isn't enough. The game has evolved. You have to be competent in all areas, striking, grappling, etc., says Mihailo. Thank you, man. I appreciate, again, your generosity, Mihailo, and I think I agree with you, man. I think you got to be able to do everything now. Otherwise, you're toast. RGN's in the Granite says, Jones moved up to heavyweight. Let's see if how he does there, man. I'm actually excited to see that. Kevin McClellan says Lopez versus Davis. Yes. Kevin from Chicago says McGregor, not a chance. All respect. So he doesn't think McGregor belongs up there. Kevin McClellan says, oh, really, WGI? Not sure what Kevin is talking about there. Mihailo says Marco Martinez, Khabib got his title shot after 9 fights. He was held up because they gave Conor the chance against Alvarez. Jones and GSP fought for the title after 1 to 3 fights, plus Khabib. There you go. That's a great point that a lot of people have been making, Mihailo. You're right about that. Who did Jones fight at heavyweight? Nobody yet. Mihailo says suffered injuries from 1.5 to 3 years out of the game. Khabib has dominated his division, which no UFC champ has ever done. 29 fights, and Khabib has never been dropped nor cut. Only lost 2 rounds. And that's per the judges' scorecards. RGN's in the Granite. Mihailo, I'm a fighter, boxer, 200 plus knockouts in the streets too. If we had iPhones in 80s, 90s, I'd have knockouts for years online. The real Ricky Tan says Garcia needs to stay away from Tank. Tank would knock him into the shadow realm the way he leaves his chin out there. I'd love to see it. Mihailo says RGN's in the Granite. Says you must have had a granite chin. Yup. Tip Top says, thank you. Leo was a multi-division champ. Yeah, man. Leo's a good fighter, man. What was it, 4 divisions he was champion? Tristan Davis says, what about McGregor? I mean, McGregor's a great fighter, but I can't put him top 3. Bones dominate even more great guys. RGN says, nope, Mahalo. I have a great one. Boxing is not to get hit, and in streets, yes, I have a great chin. Thank you. Oscar Hernandez says Nate versus McGregor, number 3. Hey, I think everybody would sign up for that one. Marco Martinez says Adesanya versus Yan was announced tonight. What? And the McGregor fight was made official. I heard about that. I didn't know about Adesanya versus Yan, though. Listen, Don't sleep on Jan, man. I know Adesanya's good, man, but don't sleep on Jan. He's not going to fight you. He's not going to fight you the way you think he's going to fight you, man. People keep... Listen. People keep fucking with Jan Blachowicz like he's somebody to fuck with. That guy, let me tell you, that guy is not to be fucked with. The way he did Dominic Reyes in that last fight, the way he did Corey Anderson, you must respect Jan Blachowicz, man. I think a lot of people are underestimating that guy, and they're paying for it dearly. I got a friend of mine, a fighter, Chris Cully. Shout out to Chris Cully. He was talking to me about a friend of his who's also another fighter. I'm not going to say who it is, but he says he's got wet bricks for hands. It's as if he soaked his hands or soaked bricks in cold water for 2 weeks. That's what his hands feel like. And I got a feeling that Jan Blachowicz has wet bricks for hands, you guys. Where are we at now? Adesanya and Yao, okay. Mihailo says, Tristan Davis McGregor has never defended his belt. He has one fight in 155 division in 3 to 4 years. He's not even top 10. It's a good point, Mihailo. RGN's in the Granite says, don't sleep on John Jones. I would never. He's a beast. But he's got an asterisk next to his name. Tristan Davis says, Mikhail, I just joined. I thought they was talking about the fighters. Abdul Karistea says, I agree with Mihailo, but even the greatest lose. Only fakesters like Mayweather cherry-picking go undefeated. FightersRep, who do you think wins, Teofimo or Hank the Tank? Listen, I got to go with Teofimo, man. I think he beats Tank right now. I think he's just a better boxer. Kevin from Chicago says, people said Usyk wouldn't be able to handle heavyweight power. He had plenty of those shots from a beast of a man today. I agree with that. And he handled it. Ultimate, what's up, brother? Appreciate you guys being in here, man. If it's your first time, again, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Hit the like button. There's almost 200 of you in here. Hit the like button. How do you feel about the recent video of Wilder accusing Fury of cheating and Fury loaded his gloves with egg weights? I talked about that a bit earlier in the stream. I think it's delusional. I think it's sad. You know, listen, anything is possible. You know, it's possible that the Tooth Fairy existed at one point. It's possible that there were mermaids. It's possible that the Sasquatch lurks in the forests of, Northern California and Washington and Oregon. But, I can't get behind it as a promoter and as somebody who lives in objective reality. It's just a little hard for me to get behind it. Again, it's probable, but highly implausible. Bobby Caban says, how about Gary Russell versus Tank? What do you think about that? I would love that fight. Best boxer of all time? I say Floyd Mayweather. Argue with me. Tristan, I would not argue with you. We're good. I kind of agree. I love Floyd Mayweather. My top 3 UFC fighters are Conor McGregor, Nick Diaz, Amanda Nunes. Respect to George Estrada, man. Appreciate your generosity, brother. Tristan Davis says Terrence versus Tank. Nah, Terrence is too big. Nate Irish 3. Stop crying about George reading the live feed. I don't know what that is. Maybe they got kicked out before I read it. Wilder needs to have actual proof of the glove tampering. He only has theories. If he were to take those theories to court, he would lose, and we all know that. Needs solid proof. Actually, that's another thing, Ricky Tan, that I've thought about, because I am a lawyer. In case you guys don't know, I've indicated that on the channel before. But, having practiced law, that's a defamation lawsuit waiting to happen. And if I were Tyson Fury, I'd beat him in the courtroom the way I beat him in the boxing ring. I wouldn't let somebody mess with my reputation like that. RGN's in the Granite says, Nate Diaz in my top 10. Abdul Karistea says, staying undefeated in the 155 division is unprecedented. 155 has been described as one, if not the toughest division in UFC. Murderers row. Dude, they're all pretty fucking tough at this point. Abdul Karistea says, McGregor went up in weight and won titles. Khabib always stayed in one weight division, never dared to be great by moving up in weight. I think the GOAT credential has been too easily bestowed in MMA. Yeah, but John Jones never went up. He just went up now. You know? Anderson Silva, did he go up? I mean, not with any sort of substance. How does Jan do against Jiri? I don't know. I think Jan's a beast, though. I think Jan's a beast, man. Don't sleep on Jan. Abdul Karasteas, Mihailo says, hold on. Conor didn't fight anyone at 155 and got a title shot given. He never defended it against an elite fighter like Khabib. He got dominated. True. LOL. Sasquatch does exist. His name is Tyson Fury. You're right about that. George loves talking fights and does. Claudio Monreal says, where are the LA Hollywood Halloween parties? I know you know the spots. Not me, brother. Listen, I'm out the game. I don't fuck with this stuff anymore, especially with this coronavirus, man. I'm not trying to catch that shit. Abdul Karstea says he won a title against Alvarez, which he did not earn. Never fought at 155. He then held the division up and got his ass kicked by Nate Diaz, too. Tristan Davis says, do you think Mike Tyson comes back and dominates? No, he's too old. RGN's in the Grand. It says, I'm sticking up for FightersRep, George. Guab Chris says, I want to see Tank fight someone at his level. This was just a major mismatch. Marco Martinez. Sean P says, excuses above. RGN says, Jan's a beast, fact. Guap Chris says, Tank needs to fight Teofimo or Virgil. I agree with that, though. I do want to see that. Knuckleheads, man. Almost 200 of you in here. Listen, I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. I've been on for over an hour. Probably going to go have another beer or some whiskey. Too hot right now in this house. Too hot in this house. How am I looking, knuckleheads? Man, I lost my definition. I'm weak. Knuckleheads, it's been a pleasure. Anything else you want to say, you could leave it in the comments once I sign off. I appreciate you guys joining me. Let me read a couple more before I sign off here. I mean, he's fighting a 51-year-old and he's 54, so about the same age. George Anderson went up and KO'd Irvin with ease, and then he did it again to former light heavyweight. Oh, that's right. Never mind. J.D. Walker, Tank versus Kerry Russell. Holy shit, all these comments come in now when I'm trying to leave. Leo had the reach advantage, so it was harder to slip, but Davis did still slip. That's true. Close profits. Leo shouldn't have been in there. I disagree with that. I think Leo is a good fighter. Tank just beat him. Haney will handle Teofimo. I'd like to see that. What do you think if Canelo versus Mayweather 2 happens? I think Canelo wins. I don't think that fight's going to happen. Smash like people, knucklehead. So he didn't win? Where do you rank that uppercut all time, says Oxnard Adrian Lopez. Fuck, bro. That might be one of the best uppercuts I've seen, man. My people, press the like button from my G. Do you think... Hey, appreciate you, Bobby. Thank you for that, man. George is shredding. Yeah, right. I'm fucking weak as fuck right now. Marco Martinez, Irvin, and Forrest weren't the toughest opponents, to be honest. That's true. Don't get me wrong. I put Silva higher than Jones. You can clearly see the body of Leo skinny compared to Tank was just a mismatch. It was skinny. Don't pass out during this team code. Mihailo is a McGregor hater. Stop the racist excuses, says Shampy. Oh, here we go with the race talk. Not racist. Listen, guys, this channel, I'm going to stop the comments right now. I'm going to lay this out for you guys. What's up, Dr. Joseph? I want you to stop the comments for a couple seconds. Let me lay this out for you guys, right? This channel is for adults. This channel is for adult humans that can deal with other people's opinions, regardless of where they're from, what they look like, where they were born, what language they speak. You know, I wish, and this may hurt some of your feelings. I wish I gave a shit about all of that stuff. That shit means nothing to me. Everybody with me and on this channel starts with a clean slate. You either come correct or you fuck up. Very few people have fucked up and gotten banned from this channel. I mean, I've probably been 1 or 2, 3, I don't know. I don't even care about, insults and stupidities like that. But the whole, man, the whole race thing and stuff like that, guys, leave that for politics. This is a channel for adults that love the fight game. Excuse me. Again, adults, it's 2020, okay? So if you're still on that racial stuff or you're still racist, there's something wrong with you, go get help. This channel is for adults that love the fight game. I'm going to leave it at that for you guys. I love you guys very much. All I want to do is build the best kickboxing promotion in the world. You're helping me do that by supporting this channel, donating, buying your stuff below. You're going to be respected regardless of where you're from. Because listen, my parents were Arab immigrants. My parents were Arab immigrants that left the worst conditions that you guys could ever imagine in your lives. They left those countries, okay? They're an Afro-Asiatic people, if you know about Arabs. Kind of between Europe, Africa, Asia. They left those countries and went to South America. They left South America because of more hard times. Went to Miami, that's where your boy's from. Miami, Florida. I grew up in Miami, and back when I grew up in the 80s and 90s, we weren't even talking about this goofy stuff and hating on each other for race the way I'm seeing now. So I don't want to hear that shit. That doesn't belong on this channel. If that's the way you feel, I don't know what to tell you. I think you got problems. This channel is for adults that love the fight game. And nobody gives a fuck where you're from here or what you look like. We appreciate you regardless. Who's with me on that one? Big shout out. Big shout out. Love everybody. That's what it is. I told you guys to be quiet. Let me say that, man. Look how many comments came through. Fuck. Guap Chris says, Teofimo called out Tank for fighting Leo. LOL, if boxers know people now, the mismatch. We are awake, not woke. Shampi, the fact that weak Loma could win 8 out of 11 on Teo means that Teo is not well-rounded. Teo also got outboxed by that tall Japanese fighter he fought not long back. Teofimo better not duck Haney like Loma. Abdul Karseh says, I love you, FightersRep. Love you too, brother. Appreciate you, man. Let's see here. RGN says, agree to disagree. I don't know what he's talking about. Abdul Karseh says, love you too, Mahalo. Even if you hate and lose objectivity. Thank you, George. Dr. Joseph H. says, Jay Marquez uppercut Juan Diaz is the best uppercut of all time. Oh, shit. That fight was crazy. The baby bull. Mahalo. Abdul Karseh, stating facts is objectivity. Conor never defended his belt. Any other legitimate UFC champ has, and that is reality, brother. All good. Tell me about your dad, George. I don't even want to tell you guys about the dad, man. That poor guy. Holy ish, I thought you were Mexican. I said South America. I mean, my dad's side went to Mexico before coming to the United States. I still got a ton of family in Mexico. I speak Spanish. I speak Arabic. I speak English. There's nothing wrong with knowing languages. It's good for you. My grandpa used to tell me, for each language you speak, you are a man. If you put somebody in a position, a job, and they can speak 3 languages, it's like you have 3 people working. Think about that. That was, my grandpa's mentality, old school Arab mentality. Just go fucking work. Be about your business. Nothing else matters. Go support your family. Dude at Brown says, I don't think Leo was too small. Tank short as hell. He had the wrong strategy. He needed to box, not brawl. If he would have used his length and moved around the ring, he had a slim chance at a decision. I agree. I agree with Dude at Brown. RGN's in the granite. Never racism. It was a great fight. Amen, brother. 100% agree. 100. Claudio Monreal, thumbs up. That's what I like about Mihailo. He hates on McGregor because he just doesn't like him, but it doesn't have anything to do with the race. That's what it's all about. Talking about the fight game. That's it. Can't get back into a corner by a sledgehammer. That's true, dude. That's true. Ice Smith Jr. 5 says, I'm with you on that. Enough said. You hit the point as plain as on the nose on anybody's face. Great channel, man. Says 480 Valley Boy 602. Appreciate you guys. Good job. Thank you guys. We are live and breathed by a heart which we all have respect. Any sane person would agree with you, Coach. One love. Man, look. I mean, it's 2020, man. We're in the middle of a pandemic. People are still talking about race, a construct that, scientists have been teaching for years doesn't even exist. It's a social construct. I waste my time on energy on shit that matters. My business, this channel, creating opportunities for young fighters, giving the fans and you guys something that you want to watch, taking care of my family, being there for my people, for my friends. That's what I care about. Let me see here. Will Mike Tyson win this upcoming fight? It's an exhibition. It's going to have some bullshit rules, so probably. Tank vs. Garcia will be a good match. Mikey, that is. Your dad is and was a brave man. Thank you for that, brother. Swag Nation. Thumbs up to you too, man. What's the biggest super fight that can be made in boxing in the next 2 years? Also, is boxing passing MMA back up? No, I don't think boxing will ever pass MMA back up unless a different promoter comes in and raises it back up. The biggest super fight right now, in my opinion, is Tank Davis versus Teofimo Lopez and Tyson Fury versus AJ. Dr. Yosef, wow, great you speaking multilingual. Appreciate you, my man. Close Prophet says Garcia would give Tank problems and he's taller and has power. Garcia. You talking about Ryan Garcia? Maybe. Swag Nation says Tank looks small at weigh-in. He's got power, size, and size had nothing to do with it. I agree. He's got a lot of power. You said it best, G. Appreciate you, man. Garcia's just got a power boost training with Canelo. Nice stream. I liked and sub. Thank you, Tristan. Appreciate you. Curveball. Who you got with the Glory kickboxing match? Verhoeven or Jamal bin Sadiq? The Moroccan giant, my Arab brother. You know what? I thought Verhoeven looked like shit against Badr Hari in the last fight. So I'm going to go with bin Sadiq this time, even though he got beat by Verhoeven in the past. And bin Sadiq looks in a hell of shape. I saw him recently, and he looks incredible. Right, George. Positive energy activates constant elevation. Love boxing, MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai. Appreciate you guys. Spence versus Crawford. Alec Martinez. That's a tough one. We got to see what Spence looks like when he comes back against Danny Garcia. Knuckleheads, I'm out for real now. Almost an hour and 20 minutes. You guys are amazing, man. I appreciate you guys being in here with me. It means a lot for this many people to be here, supporting the channel, donating, helping me build the only promotion with integrity left. If you look at some of these decisions today. Yeah, that's all I got to say. I'm going to just read these and then sign out. Speed kills. Once Tank gets inside Ryan, it's a wrap. He doesn't like pressure. Costa versus Whitaker. 191 people support the channel, peeps, and click on like. It's only a few seconds of work. Appreciate that, Mihailo. I think it's about time for the other boxer middleweights to fight each other. They're all sitting around crying for Canelo to fight them, but none of them fighting each other. Canelo can't do it all. Jan will show us how we thought Paulo Costa was going to fight Izzy. I agree with that. LOL. Crawford is the best right now. We got you, FightersRep. Respect. Hey, Much respect to you guys. Have a great night. Take care. Don't drink too much. But if you're staying home, drink as much as you want. I'm out.